Hello everyone, happy Wednesday. Everyone had a good day. What have you been doing today? If you're in isolation, how are you keeping yourself entertained? Well, we're back tonight with another show. We've got Emma Dykes joining us, and we've had Emma on the show before, but she's got a new single out for us to chat about. I don't know if you've already heard it, but let us know in the comments if you have, and we might welcome her into the room. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for joining us again.
Thanks for having me.
I think last time I had you, I was still at work, so it's nice.
Yeah, that's right, you were.
Yeah.
Different backdrop.
Different backdrop, yeah. It's nice to be home and have my slippers on. How are you going with everything? You've had a bit of a busy few months.
I've done, yes. Going really well. So I had the little rider, he's 3 months old now. So that's kept me busy, learning the ropes of being a new mum.
Yeah.
I've been off work because of that. So feeling for all of the nurses still at work at the moment, but thanking my lucky stars that I'm at home and safe at the moment, which is, I feel horrible saying that, but I'm definitely feeling for the guys that are out there. It's not a very fun time, I think, for people.
No, it's not a nice time for everyone to be working. It's not a nice time for anyone, I don't think.
No, that's right. And it's been strange having a baby in the middle of it and not being able to take him out and introduce him to everyone and having to be a little bit careful. I mean, rather than being exciting, it's probably been quite nerve-wracking, really, every time we try and, take him out. So it's been different.
Even just the process of actually having the baby, going into hospital, none of that would have been normal.
No, it wasn't. It was all very different. I mean, we weren't allowed any visitors or anything, which a lot of people said it's probably a blessing in disguise. But I was lucky enough to have Aaron in there, so that was I was grateful for that. I wasn't on my own, but yeah, it was very different.
Yeah.
We had no antenatal classes. That was a big thing. We had no classes prior because they all got cancelled, obviously, with being groups and things. So yeah, it was different.
Did they do anything online at all to help you?
They gave us some links to some information. I think now they've got like actual classes up and running online. We didn't have that at the time. They just sent us some information via links and things. We'd done a hypnobirthing class though, which I was grateful for. So that was, gave me a little bit of practice with breathing and chilling and trying to relax a bit through it. So very grateful that we actually did that prior to the whole coronavirus thing. So that gave me a bit of a heads up, I guess.
Yes. And had you stopped work before all this coronavirus hit, or was that just, you sort of stopped just as it was coming in?
Yeah, so I actually, my last week of work for the uni, I had a bit of a close scare where one of the ladies had been on a flight with someone positive, and that was very early on before they'd sort of done any isolation or anything like that. It was very, very early. So that kind of triggered a bit of a panic in us quite early. And my husband was working from home from then anyway, because they're a big employer and they didn't take any risks. So they were already working from home that same week. And from then we basically, I think that was in March, early March, I think it was. And we just basically kept ourselves away and isolated from then because it was a little too close to home and we thought that was quite scary. So yeah, it was from then, my last few gigs got cancelled. So after the album came out in February, I had a few booked in to kind of launch the album and they got cancelled. So yeah, I was sort of coming just into the end of that before I went off on maternity leave.
My goodness, that was very well timed for you.
It was. It was. In some ways, it was very a blessing in disguise, yes.
Absolutely. Now, you've just decided to release your single now. What's the reason behind releasing this song now? And
in all honesty, it was a bit of a coincidence. So
really?
we'd planned this in advance. This was going to be the next single off the album, and it's just coincidentally happened to be at the most appropriate time it could possibly be. I think it's given, for me, like I said, I feel horrible that I'm not frontline at the moment and I'm not working, and I guess at least being able to release this song was a little bit of a way for me to chuck it out there and go, hey, let's thank our nurses and let's think of the nurses at the moment because, tough times, and a thank you goes a long way when you're working in that kind of environment.
Absolutely. I agree. Why I love the song. I think
yes, exactly.
It's funny because it's a serious song, but it's also, you have a bit of a giggle with it as well. Like it's a really great way. So how did the writing process start with this song? Was it something you planned to do or just happened when you were writing?
it had never crossed my mind to write about nursing actually, but I was doing the Scullion sessions with Matt Scullion and talking about a lot of the other songs I'd written that were written around my experience of nursing, not necessarily specifically nursing, but experiences I'd had or things I'd learned along the way. And I was telling the stories behind them. And when we got off stage, Matt said to me, you really need to write a song about nursing. And so he sat down with me and kind of, I had trouble summing up that career in, 3 or 4 minutes, but Matt was very good at asking questions and, coaxing those different points out. And we wanted to make it something that was a bit of an anthem for the nurses, and that's sort of what we tried to call it along the way, is a bit of an anthem for the nurses and something that we could see them singing along to. And there's a few lines in there, like you said, that have come out of nurses' mouths that I've heard over time, and I think it touches on some of the sense of humour of a nurse as well as some of the emotion of it as well, because I think nurses are pretty well known for having a bit of a warped sense of humour at times, and I think they say what doesn't make you laugh makes you cry, so I think that's what gets us through a lot of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well. As I said, sometimes I listen to it, I'm like, oh, yes. I thought that, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I think it's great. So had you played this song live before you released the album?
No, I haven't. So I've never played this song live yet. We're waiting for the launch to come out. No, it's not something, like I said, there was a few gigs I had booked in specifically once the album dropped to play them, and they all got cancelled. So we're still waiting.
So no one's got to hear this live yet. So we have to, as soon as we can, get to an Dykes show so we can actually see you do this live.
Yeah, it'll be nice. I don't know when that's going to be, but it'll be nice to get back out and be face to face doing it again.
Absolutely. I hope you do the song in your scrubs. That's what I'm hoping for.
And the album, like the single cover, is actually a photo of me as a new grad when I was working in theatres as an anaesthetic nurse. And so that's a genuine photo that I took in theatres at one point.
Wow, that was great. I love it. I'm sorry. Some days that's exactly how we feel.
Yeah, that's it. Summed up the day, I think.
Yeah. Wow.
We had plans to do a film clip for this. So because I've been working for the university doing their clinical labs with the students, I'd lined up to use the clinical lab situation that we had there with some of the students and do a film clip. And I was really excited about it. I thought we were going to have a lot of fun with it. But again, we sort of put that on hold with the whole isolation thing and coronavirus. So it's something I hope to be able to come back to at a later point and do a film clip. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think the film clip for this could be really fun, really, really exciting for the new nurses coming through too. Hopefully they're not get off by.
That's it. Hopefully they'll laugh at it rather than be turned off by it.
I would not go back to being a student nurse.
No. Actually, while I was in hospital having Ryder, like being on the other side of the fence and being a patient, like I'm a terrible patient, first person to admit it, like I'm a horrible patient. And I said to them at one point, do you think you could just hypnotize me and take my degree away so I don't have any information? Like, I don't want to know anything. It's made me so anxious. It's just sometimes it would be nice just to forget all that.
Yes, I completely agree. I was in hospital very recently and it was the same thing. I'm like, why are they going to do that? Well, what are they doing that for? And you see their face and you're like, don't try and hide it. I know exactly what you're thinking. Just wish I didn't know.
Exactly. That's exactly what happened. Like they were monitoring Ryder, obviously through the labour, and I could hear them saying like, oh, he's in the yellow zone or he's in the blue zone. Oh, I just want you to double check this, Tracy's back in the yellow zone. And then they'd come to me and say, he's doing really well. Like, I can hear them. I know what they're saying. I know what that means.
No, exactly. Sometimes it's definitely a curse. Definitely a curse.
It is definitely and they were right. Everything was fine, and they had full handle on it. I should have laid back and relaxed, but it's a bit different, letting go of that control sometimes.
Yes, sometimes you forget you're not being paid anymore, and you're paying them really. So you don't really want to do that.
That's exactly right. Do you want to say hello to him?
You awake now?
He's just woken up. Yeah. He come say hello. He still looks half asleep.
Oh, he's so long. Hello?
Can you see? Who's that? Who's that? His little mohawk. Can you see?
The next generation of singing in your family, the singer in your family.
Yeah. He likes Jack Johnson. That's been he's putting him to sleep to Jack Johnson lately, so we've been singing a bit of that. Hey?
Does he like you playing guitar?
Yeah, and to be honest, I haven't done a whole lot of it. I think my hands are always tied up around him. I have picked it up a few times, and he does, but I haven't had a whole chance to do it very often. When I'm not holding him, he's asleep, and I don't want to wake him. So
I want to wake sleep then, I reckon.
yeah, yeah. But I must say, it's when you say like next generation, it's strange watching so he's gotten really used to doing video calls with people. So because all Aaron's family are down the south coast, so he hasn't seen them, but he does video calls with them all the time. So he's gotten used to watching the phone and having people talk to him, which is completely out of the ordinary for me. I don't do video calls very often.
No. Me either. This is my video call. I don't need any more.
Yeah. Yeah, I get so awkward. I don't do it. I put him on the screen. That's fine, but I stay out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So tell us about the whole album. How's the album going since you released in February? Because obviously you couldn't tour. Are you still getting people messaging you? Are you still getting reactions from people?
Yeah, I am, and I think that's where releasing the singles has been really, really good because it gives the opportunity to talk about it and to see how it's going on radio and hear whether people are enjoying it or not. Because it's a little bit harder to follow up with the album as a whole as to whether it's been loved or hated or whatever when you're not doing it face to face. So definitely looking forward to getting out and getting a little bit more feedback on the album itself, but single wise I'm stoked with how everything's gone, and I'm loving releasing that music. It's it's new music for me, so it's really cool to get that out and hear that it's going well with people.
Exactly, and especially because you haven't had the opportunity to play these songs for people yet, so you haven't even had that pre-release sort of idea of how it's going to flow with people, so it's really good.
Exactly, and we sort of said maybe we do we'll re-release the album a little bit later on when we can do that, because it sort of took a lot of the excitement away. It sort of the album came out and was released, and then it's sort of just done. That's it. Yeah. It's done now, and so we might need to come back and do it again and book a little touring and re-release it.
I agree. February next year, let's go for a new release. Yeah.
We'll just skip 2020. Other than Ryder, we'll keep him from it, but we'll skip the rest of 2020.
Looking around.
Yeah. He's not quite tall enough, though, to get up on the thing.
Oh, how big was he? How big was he when he was born?
He was 6'9". So he was actually quite tall, but he was a skinny little mini. So he had wrinkly little knees. But he's certainly, he likes his food, so he's certainly put on plenty of weight now.
Good.
Yes.
Is he also getting the COVID belly?
Yes, he's doing a good job at that. Yeah.
Tell us, is there another single to come from your album before?
There's so many. This album is so diverse, and there's so many different sounds and songs on it that I found it so hard to kind of go, yep, these are the few singles I want to release. So I'm keen to keep singles coming especially while everyone's stuck at home and we can't get out and do it face to face. So I've got heaps of songs on there that I want to release and be able to talk about. They've all got stories, and I'm so excited about all of them. And I think because it's so diverse, it's been hard to just sum the album up in a couple of songs. So I'm really keen to keep them coming.
Absolutely. And obviously you haven't been able to do much writing in the last 3 months, but prior to that, and when you were sort of locking yourself down before he was born, have you done a bit more writing ready for another album or another recording?
I've got a couple of songs. Yeah, there's a couple of songs there, and I've been adding to my list of ideas. So I've got a whole heap. I'm jamming them down as much as I can, and I'm finding a little bit more recently. So I think I went through that whole, the whole, what do they call it? Nesting. That's it. Where that's Aaron in the background. Nesting is the word you're looking for. Baby brain. But I sort of went through that, and I found that I was not feeling creative at all. I think, cleaning the house and doing all that sort of thing, and I was just really struggling with the creative side. So just recently that started to come back a bit, and my head's ticking over, and I've been writing ideas down. So I feel like that's something that's going to come.
Excellent. So we'll probably end up having, your second release of this album, and then another one fairly afterwards, the way that it's going to pan out.
We'll have to just, I think, fly by the seat of our pants with that and see what happens.
So where can people buy this single and your album? How can they get there? actual album?
Here you go. It's coming to take him back. All of the normal online streaming platforms, so Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, it's on all of those. It's on YouTube as well if you don't have any of those. And it's available on my albums, so through my website, emmadykes.com. The store on there's got both my albums. I do believe this album's available through JB Hi-Fi and Sanity if you order it in as well. So, yeah,
Well, that's good.
I've heard.
We'll have to check that out. But I think it's best just to go straight through your website.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It's simple that way, and I get to sign it myself and send it out. So I enjoy that part of it. It makes it exciting, especially since we're not out doing the whole face-to-face conversation. I get a kick out of signing it and sending it out and seeing where they're going to. So I like that way.
Great to see what parts of the country that your album reaches. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Especially when you get an international one. That's exciting.
That would be very exciting.
Yeah,
well,
it's all good fun.
I'm very excited to have you on the show, but I can't believe it's 7:30 already, and we've got another podcast coming at 7:30. So those who haven't already liked and jumped over to Emma's page, make sure you jump onto her Facebook page. And you've got Instagram as well, don't you?
I do. I'm getting better at that one. I like Instagram. It's all photos.
It is that I like using it. I have not got the hang of.
Yeah. I forget to do it as my worst thing, and I think Facebook is just my automatic go-to because I remember it's there. But I'm starting to try and put a lot more on Instagram now.
So jump over and like Emma's page on Facebook and Instagram, and check her website out. If you haven't already got the album, I recommend to jump on there and grab it because I think you're going to love it. The stories behind Emma's songs are amazing. So head over and purchase that. Thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me. It's always good fun.
Anytime. It always is. Thanks, guys. We'll see you. When will I see you? I think next Wednesday. Next Wednesday. I'm trying to think what the date is.
I know that feeling.
See you guys.